Good evening, everyone. I have 8 p.m. Central Time. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining the JCI USA September webinar. Our topic this week or this month is going to be building your brand. So we're going to talk about how you can build your personal brand, professional brand, and build the brand on your chapter. My name is Noelle Knockreiner. I am serving as the 2017 Membership Director. I am also the 2018 National President-elect, so I will begin that term of service on January 1st of 2018. And I hail from the Indianapolis area in JCI Indianapolis. Our objectives for this evening's webinar is to talk about why having a personal brand is important, to help you learn how to create and improve on your personal brand, and then also discuss how we can apply these principles to your chapter. So why is it important to have a personal brand? What does it say when you have a personal brand? I think the first thing that you need to think about is there's this great quote from the CEO of Amazon. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So your brand is really what other people think of you. And I don't mean this in a judgmental way or if they're talking about you or gossiping about you. It's just the persona and the image that you give off to other people so that when you're not around, the way that they perceive you. So the importance of a brand. What do you want people to associate with you? So there's a lot of words that I think we can all agree we would want people to associate with us. Words like honest, respectful, hard worker, competent, adaptable, compassionate, generous, reliable, a leader, or a team player. These are all words that can help you in building your brand. If people identify you with some of these words or most of these words, you're probably doing a really good job of building your brand and being true to who you are and genuine with other people. Hopefully, if you are a JC, which you all are if you're on this webinar, there's another phrase that you want associated with your personal brand, and that is young, active citizen. That is what we are all striving to be in this organization, to be a global network of young, active citizens. And that is something that you should be striving for every day in your own communities and hopefully building that brand that people outside of the JCs will know you as someone who is actively involved in the community and a person who really gets things done. So the importance of having a brand is how can it help you? Well, there's a number of ways that it can help you. If you have a personal brand, it can help you in getting a job promotion. It can help you in changing your career if you have something that you're kind of known for or something that you're really, really good at. It can help you in building personal relationships as well. If you have a personal brand, that's what you become known for among your group of friends. And you may have a friend who may say to another friend, oh, I know this great person and you should meet them. They can really help you with X, or they're really good at Y. You know, having that personal brand or having those things that you are known for being really good at will help you introduce you to more people and help you build your professional and personal relationships. And then within the JCs, having a brand is really going to help you build your leadership opportunities. Maybe this is a silly example, but maybe you are a person who is a really big fan of Robert's Rules of Order. So people are going to know that at your chapter meetings, you are the go-to person to talk about Robert's Rules of Order and whether a motion is going to be in order, or if you can ask for a question of privilege, things of that sort, that you're going to be that person, that's going to be your brand. People are going to know to come to you with those questions, and that goes with a number of different leadership opportunities inside of this organization. So how you build your brand. When it comes down to building your brand, it really has to be personal and it has to be authentic. I cannot stress enough how important authenticity is. So it really comes down to 4 different areas. Your image, like we said, what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. What is the image that you're portraying to other people? It comes down to your personal mission, or how you want to live your life. All companies have mission statements that they are striving every day to accomplish. Here in the JCs, that's that we provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. So you as a person should have a personal mission as well. You should also have a set of values that you work within as a part of your brand. Again, as an organization, our values is our creed. We have very specific things that we believe in as an organization, and those are our values that we tout. And then last but not least, you should have your vision. And your vision is really what you are striving to be in a perfect world. So our vision in this organization is to be the leading global network of young active citizens. That is what we are working towards every single day. We are always trying to better ourselves and put ourselves in a position that anywhere in the world you can ask somebody what JCI means, and they can tell you that we are active people who get things done in our communities. So when it comes to your personal brand, you really want to ask yourself these questions. What kind of employee do I want to be? What do I want my boss to say about me? So if we were to walk up to these people on the street and say, what do you think of Noelle? Think about what answer you would want them to give about you. What kind of friend or spouse do I want to be? What kind of JC do I want to be? And then what do I want others to say about me when I'm not in the room? So, you kind of, it's one of those situations of you reap what you sow. So if you tell people, that you're a genuine person and that you care about them, hopefully, those are the ways that they're going to perceive you. But if you are a person who spreads rumors or you gossip a lot, then that's probably how people are going to perceive you instead. So once you've kind of figured out and asked yourself some of those questions, you can start to work on your mission of what will be your personal brand. And I really suggest that you make a list. You make a list of what it is that you're passionate about. What are the things that you really, really, really just make your heart sing, whether that's working with children or taking care of animals or graphic design, things of that sort. What are the things that really, really make you passionate? And then what are your skills and talents? What are you really, really good at? And then you also want to make a list of areas that you would really like to improve on. So maybe you are a great you're a great leader, or you're a person who has really great ideas, but you aren't always great at speaking in front of other people. You're not a good public speaker. So you want to share those ideas and that you're passionate about these ideas that you have, but you need to improve how you're going to speak about them. And then you want to write it down. This will be your value statement. So once you think about what your passions are and what you want to improve in, come up with a great sentence for how you can incorporate all of those things into one value statement. How can you use your talents that you have to make a difference or be a better individual? How can you improve the skills that you want to improve upon to really add a value to other people's lives or to society in general? So really think that through and think long and hard about what you would want your value statement to be. And honestly, you have to write that down and you have to refer to it often. They always say that a goal that's not written down is just a wish. So if you want that goal to come true, if you want to live your vision and your mission, you really need to write it down. And I suggest keeping it with you at all times. I have a little personal mission statement that is folded up on a very small piece of paper and stuck in my purse and in a zippered portion of my purse. And every time I change purses, that moves with it. And I try to open it and read it. It doesn't always happen, but just to keep that fresh in your mind and to know that you always have it with you. And then you have to connect. You have to, once you have decided, this is the person that I want to be, this is my mission in life, these are the things that I value, you have to share your brand with others. You have to promote thyself. You have to promote yourself to others, especially if it is a goal that you're really passionate about or something that you really want to become known for that maybe you're not known for right now. For example, for me, I really wanted to take that step to start doing more training and to become a more of a known trainer in this organization so that perhaps someday along the line I can become a corporate trainer in my professional career. And so I really had to start promoting myself within the organization to say, hey, I'm really passionate about being able to train the members of this organization and provide leadership training to them and help them figure out their strengths and their talents. You know, how can you help me get there? How can I come do trainings at your chapter? Can I come to your state? You have to be willing to put yourself out there and share that brand and share that vision for what it is that you want to be. And then you have to build relationships. It cannot be transactional. Anyone who works in sales is going to tell you that it is about building relationships with other people. It's not just about saying, oh, hey, I want to do this for you, or, you know, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. It can't be just transactional. You have to really build relationships with other people that will be mutually beneficial. And then last but not least, you have to find mentors. You have to find other people around you who have been there and who have done it and who have walked a mile in your shoes before you came up and can really help offer guidance and offer support. Within the JCs, my mentor has been Dawn Hetzel, who is currently the JCI World President. She was my local president when I joined, and she has been such a huge mentor to me because she, in most cases, all of the things that I've wanted to do, she's already done. And she's been able to say, you know, watch out for this or try to do that. And sometimes I take her advice and sometimes I don't always, but she's always a great resource to bounce ideas off of, to vent to, just to have somebody who is kind of outside of where you are. You know, you have people on your own executive teams or your own boards or in your chapter, what have you. Those might not always be the best people to vent to or to share, you know, where you're trying to go. It's great to have somebody outside of your current spectrum who you can share those struggles and successes with. So then when you manage your brand, so after you've created this brand that you have and you know what your mission is and you know what your values are and you're promoting yourself to other people as this person that you want to be, how do you continue to manage that brand and keep it fresh and keep it exciting so that people understand you? So let's talk about the easiest way and the way that most people will probably be finding you now. Let's talk about online and your digital footprint. So what does it look like when you're using Facebook, when you're using LinkedIn and all of the social media platforms? What does it look like if somebody does a Google search of you? Those are important things for you to think about and to monitor if you're trying to build a really healthy, positive brand. So on Facebook, your profile photo and your cover photo, you want to make sure that, yes, these can be fun photos of you. They can portray your, your personality, your unique personality that you have, which is one of Earth's great treasures, we all know. But it also should be, definitely more professional. Maybe avoid, maybe avoid a photo of you with Edward 40 hands taped to your hands and drinking and things like that. We were all in college at one point in time, but we are now adults, or we were all had that experience where we kind of let loose. But if you're trying to build a positive brand and have people see you in a positive way, it's great to keep those things true to you and definitely showing your personality, but also not being disrespectful and making sure that you're being tactful. The same goes with your status updates. I know it can be very, very, very tempting to vent on Facebook or vent your frustrations or, comment on updates that you can kind of hide behind your computer, but you also just have to make sure that you think about who's reading those things, that you're posting. And if you're complaining about a server that you had who gave you bad service, or if you're complaining about you know, anything, a huge spectrum of things, that can really come back to you. You know, employers could see that, potential employers could see that, those people that maybe you might be talking about can see it, and if you're really trying to build a positive and healthy brand, you really need to be really conscious of what you're posting out there and you know, making public. And even if you end up deleting it later, you know, everyone can take screenshots. The internet is forever, so just always be really cognizant. And the same goes for your interactions with others. Like I said, you know, how you're commenting on things, especially in, you know, coming off of the election a few months ago, and a lot of people got really heated, and how you interacted with others. And I know every day I was seeing friends say, I had to defriend 14 people because we got into an argument about politics. And just remember that, you know, if these were your friends before Facebook, do you want them to still be your friends after Facebook? If Facebook went away tomorrow, would you still want those individuals to be your friends and to be people that you would pick up the phone and call? And maybe if you have 1,400 friends, maybe 1,322 of them, you could care less if you saw them again or not. But that other 88, they're really important people to you. And so you just want to be very, very conscious of your interactions with them. And then last but not least, think about your privacy settings. If you want to be posting things that you don't want your employer to see, ensure that you set your privacy settings so that other people can't see that. Make it so that if somebody tags you in a photo, you have to go in and approve it to show up on your timeline. That way you know that you are truly in control of your social media presence and what other people are trying to portray you as or say about you while you're interacting with them online. When it comes to LinkedIn, that's kind of the more professional realm of Facebook and of social media. So if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, I definitely recommend you set one up, especially if it's something where you're trying to build your brand and expand your personal or your professional career, my apologies. And you definitely want to keep that professional that profile very professional. You want to treat it like your online resume. So, you know, if you wouldn't list every single high school babysitting job that you had on your resume, maybe you would if it's applicable to your career, but if it's not, you might not. You probably wouldn't put that on LinkedIn. And as JCs, I always say that it is very relevant to put your JC experience on LinkedIn and on your kind of online resume, because so many of the skills that we have or that we get to learn in this organization are so applicable to the professional realm. You know, things like learning how to manage a budget, learning how to manage other people, plan events, plan projects. All of those things are such great transferable skills. So you should have those on your LinkedIn profile, and, you know, have what your title is in your chapter or in your state organization, and have a list that describes the types of things that you did, because employers are out there looking for those kind of things, and headhunters are out there looking for those things. You know, you can apply for jobs on LinkedIn, and I have actually found jobs that I've had in the past from LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that profile professional, that you're keeping it up to date, that you're interacting with other people. If you have relevant articles to either your job or what it is that you're trying to build your personal brand upon, that you are posting those articles, that you're posting updates, that you're interacting with people so that they can be sure, you know, so you can build that brand as well and continue to interact with people in the realm that you want to be in. And then last but not least, join groups for topics of interest. You know, we have a JCI group on there. You can follow JCI USA on LinkedIn and get additional updates there like you do on Facebook or on other social media platforms. So definitely make sure you're joining those groups for the things that you are passionate about and the ways that you're trying to build your brand. I put Instagram on here, but this really goes for Instagram, Snapchat, all of those other smaller platforms that the kids all use that I'm not as familiar with. So Instagram, definitely keep it fun and personal, but again, still appropriate. There are still guidelines and policies on Instagram, and there are certain things that you cannot and should not post, especially if you are trying to build a healthy, positive brand for yourself. So, you know, post photos on there, show your creativity, and then also make sure that you're tracking and monitoring your privacy. You can make your accounts private so that not everyone and their brother will see what you're posting on those accounts. And if you want to only limit that to people you know and people who are your friends, you can be a little more open on those platforms. And then a Google search. I recommend that every year or so you do a Google search of yourself just to see what comes up and that you're ensuring that the right types of information are coming up. So you can see I did a Google search of myself, and you can see my professional profile right there on the top of LinkedIn. You can also see my information as the membership director, along with a couple videos of me on YouTube that you can see as well. So, you know, just ensuring that you are monitoring your Google search and your hits and the kind of information that you want people to see if they're searching you. Because if you're looking for a new job, people are probably doing a Google search on you. If you are running for an office in your chapter, it's very possible that people are doing a Google search on you. I see that we have a question. Let me see if I can pull that up. Nope. Where is that? I see we have a hand raised. I don't know what that means exactly. Sorry about that. So when it comes to building your brand for your chapter, a lot of the same rules apply, but we're going to go through and talk about those. And I am a firm believer that if you build it, they will come. So if you are building your chapter and building the brand of your chapter to be what you want it to be, members will just follow. They will come and they will join you. So first of all, you need to know who you are, or how are you known in your community? What does your community say about you? So just like when you're building your personal brand and saying, you know, what is my best friend saying about me? What is my employer saying about me? You have to know those things of what your community is saying about you too. So you have to ask around. You have to conduct community surveys. You have to go to city council meetings, network with other people, and then you have to adjust your programming that you're providing based on what they're saying about you, or look at what your mission is as an organization or what you want to be known for in your community. And then you really, within your chapter, once you have kind of gone through that process as a chapter of kind of figuring out your value statement and your mission and what it is that you want to be known for, of course it's a little different as an organization because we have a mission already for us. That does not mean that your personal chapter has to be held to that mission statement. You can use a variation of that mission statement. You know, you can go with something that is more applicable for your community. It's really whatever you think is most applicable for your chapter and what you need to be known for. But I always recommend that chapters find their niche in the community. Find what it is that you want to be known for. Find what need you can fill in your community. And then really create a plan around that. Create a plan of action, a long-term strategic plan, a membership growth strategy, and then also create a marketing plan. And we'll talk a little bit about each of those. So your plan of action is your annual guide to success. This is going to only focus on 1 year at a time. As an organization, we firmly believe in 1 year to lead. So you live in an officer position for 1 year and then you move on to the next position. That's in an ideal world. It does not always happen. You are hearing from a woman who was state president twice in her state, so I understand that it is not always the way that it works out, but it definitely, your annual plan should just be that. Annual. It should focus on 1 year at a time. You should set goals for that annual plan, things that you want to accomplish within a year. And because it's only within a year, you have to make sure that they're very realistic. We've talked about SMART goals, and hopefully if you don't know what a SMART goal is, that is something that is specific. It's something that is measurable, so you can say that you will know at the end of the year if you achieved it or not. it has to be attainable. So it has to be, and it has to be realistic, attainable and realistic, and then also timely. So in this course, of course, you would be talking about a year. So you would be creating that plan of action and working and focusing on goals that you can accomplish in 1 year. So then you'll also want to have a timeline for each of those goals of who's going to accomplish it. And it's probably not for a whole goal. You're probably going to break it down into small incremental pieces or objectives so that you can say, okay, for this goal of growing our membership by 20 members this year. Okay, in the first quarter, we're going to focus on adding 5 new members. And so here's how we're going to focus on that in just the first quarter. So break it down into small incremental pieces. And then also make sure you assign people to be responsible for those pieces and the timeline, and that you have someone who's holding them accountable. You should also then have a strategic plan. So your strategic plan is your 3 to 5 year plan of where you want your chapter to be in 3 to 5 years. So maybe you want your chapter to have 150 members by the end of 5 years, and currently you have 42 members. That's a very attainable goal and something that you can do if you're working very hard at it. And again, your strategic plan is very much just a larger scale of your plan of action where you're looking more long term. You're looking at, but you're still going to have goals that you want to achieve. You're still going to have those steps and the timeline and the people who are responsible. The thing that's going to be different with your strategic plan is that you're probably not going to be able to assign specific individuals because we have a year to lead. So it would be more of the roles that you would assign. So maybe you would say the vice president of community is responsible for achieving this goal over the next 5 years. So each vice president of community who comes in that year focuses on that goal or a piece of that goal to try to work towards achieving it. You also want to make sure that your plan of action is reflective of your strategic plan. You can't just have a one-off plan of action that has nothing to do with the overall strategic plan. You want to make sure that everything is driving towards the same exit and that they're going to meet there at the end together. And you want to have a membership plan as well. And this is something that as the membership director, I would be remiss not to touch on. So you really need to think about what kind of members do you want in your chapter? When we talk about building that brand, do you want to have people who are going to be influential in your chapter? Do you want people who are going to have integrity and be honest? Do you want to have people who are going to gossip and spread rumors? I'm guessing that you're going to say no on that one. So trying to find those people who are really the kind of members that you want, and ensuring that you have a really good, diverse, and really diversified organization that offers a lot of great programming is going to help you build and attract those members that you want. So you want to make sure that you have a prospective list, that you have a list of people that you want to target to join your chapter. And this may be people you know, this may be people in your community that you've seen in the newspaper or in the 40 Under 40, or maybe they've won some other sort of award, and you say, hey, that person would be an awesome Kalamazoo JC. I want them to join our chapter. So you write their name down and you do some research of them and try to find out how you can connect with that person, whether it's sending them an email or reaching out to them in some way, so that you can say, hey, I would love to talk to you more about the JCs and how we can work together. So it's really helpful to have those kind of lists somewhere on the cloud, so either on Google Drive or Office 365 or Dropbox, somewhere where everyone in your chapter can access it, because maybe you really want John Jones to join your chapter, but you don't know John Jones personally. You put John Jones on your prospective list, and maybe another person in your chapter will be looking at that list and say, oh, I know John Jones. We just played racquetball 2 weeks ago at the Y. And he can pull up John Jones' phone number and input it, and then boom, you have his contact information. You can reach out to John Jones and invite him to an event or to have coffee with you. You also may want to consider having a profession list, having a list of people in the organization of different professions that you really want to target. It's really smart to have an attorney in your chapter so that if your chapter runs into a legal issue or needs to, file your paperwork with the IRS, someone who can help you do that. It may be really beneficial to have a mechanic in your chapter, or somebody who can help you diagnose your car. I know when I was a single female, I would go to the guy in my chapter who worked on cars all the time to say, what's going on with my car? What's wrong with my car? And it was so great to have that resource. So definitely target different kinds of professions that you want in your chapter. It's great to have an insurance salesman. It's great to have to have somebody who's a real estate agent. We are not a networking organization. We don't promote ourselves as a networking organization, but a lot of times, because you've built your brand and because you attract those different kind of people into the organization, if you know somebody in your chapter who's a real estate agent, they're probably the first person you're going to call when you're ready to buy a house or sell a house. You also have to be sure that you write down membership goals. We talked earlier, if your goal is by the end of the year to recruit 20 new members into your chapter, write that down. Make sure that you break it down into small, achievable increments so that you can do it. And talk about how. How are you going to attract new members? Are you going to ensure that you have membership information booths at every single event that you have? Are you going to have socials for prospective members? Are you going to do some paid advertising on Facebook? Get really specific on how you plan to attract those members in your plan. And then share with all of your members. Make sure that everyone knows what the goals are, that they know about the prospective list, that they know about the profession list, because you never know. They may know someone on that list. They may know an attorney or a dentist or whatever profession it is that you're looking for, that they can recruit for you. Let members recruit for you and do the work for you. And again, if you are building it, those members will come. If you have a great chapter with a great image and reputation doing a lot of great diversified programming, then your current members are going to be happy to share their experience with prospective members and with their friends and say, this is why you should join this organization. Here's the value that you're going to get, aside from potential networking opportunities. You'll get to grow your professional skill set and your personal skill set, and you'll get to have fun, and you'll get to really connect with a group of like-minded individuals and make a difference in your community. So when it comes to having a marketing plan, every chapter has to have a marketing plan. Putting on my communications professional hat for a second, since that is what I do in my everyday career, you absolutely have to have a marketing plan. You have to know how you're going to reach your members, and you have to be where your members are. So you have to be on social media. You have to have a Facebook page. You have to be active, and the same rules apply. You can definitely make sure that you are having fun and that you're posting fun things, but make sure that all of the same rules apply, that you're being appropriate, that you are, not saying things in there that you wouldn't want other people to hear said, or, definitely don't go on to your Facebook page the day after a social event and say, oh my goodness, did you see that lady that came to our that came to our M night last night? She was definitely not between the ages of 18 and 40. She was much older. Don't do things like that. And if you have a members only page, that's just for your members, or a members only group that is private that other people don't see, still don't do it because you never know who knows who. You never know, what people are thinking. So you always want to be portraying that positive image. I think the rule of thumb is if you don't want it said about you, don't say it about anybody else, and definitely don't put it in writing. Another great way to market your organization is newsletters, sending out an email newsletter once a month, once every 2 weeks, however often you think you need to do it. Not daily, probably not weekly. That might be overkill, but definitely sending out newsletters so that your members know what's going on, know what's happening. And don't be afraid to send out one-off newsletters or invitations or emails. You know, if you have a big event coming up, send just an invitation to that event or send a special newsletter that just talks about that event. Make sure you're highlighting people in it. You know, make sure that you are offering other opportunities that are outside of the JCs. My chapter actually has a great section of community events that have nothing to do with our chapter, but are other great events that are happening in the community. You know, promote other organizations. We don't have to be in competition with them. We can definitely complement them. Have a great website that is easy to navigate, that is appealing to the eye. If you can offer a dues payment section on there where members can just renew their membership online, definitely do that because it makes it so much easier. And then last but not least, have information booths at all of your events. And this is something that we say all the time and we've been saying for years, but they really do work. And it is definitely, you know, when you're planning an event and everybody has a job and everybody has a role, it is so easy to forget to promote yourself and to forget to have a membership booth at your event because you're pulled in 1,000 different directions. But please, please, please find someone in your chapter who's a great salesman, who's passionate about the organization, who can sign up any member off the street. You know, and have someone there so they can talk about the organization because you never know, you know, you might have an event that inspires someone to join the organization who ends up someday being, you know, the state president or the national president or something like that. You need to make sure that you have information booths and that you have information about membership and how to join available at every single event that you do. And last but not least, I do want to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room. We're talking about branding, right? So when it comes to branding, who are we? Are we JCI or are we the JCs? And this is a debate that has spanned, it feels like decades, but it's really only been years. So we officially, as the United States, rebranded as JCI USA so that we could be more associated with our counterparts in other countries. Because Junior Chamber is an international organization, we are in 120 countries, and we have a relationship with the United Nations Foundation. We decided that it was in our best interest as an organization to be branded, to be associated with that international organization. The United States Junior Chamber, the JCs, that still exists. That is still who we are. And you know, it is not, I'm now putting on my president-elect hat, it is not in my immediate plans, in my plans at all, to force chapters to go to JCI. That is never something that we're going to do. If you have built the brands in your community that you are the JCs, absolutely always be the JCs. That is completely acceptable. We understand it's confusing. You know, you can say affiliated with JCI USA or a part of JCI, however you want to word that, so that you say, we are the JCs, we have been here for 102 years, we are going to continue to create positive change, but we're also a part of this international organization, and that is amazing in and of itself, that we are a part of something that is globally changing the face of our entire world. That's really cool. That's something that we should tout and something that we should talk about. My local chapter, again, they're fairly new, and we are branded as JCI Indianapolis. And the way that they say it is really, really cool. They say, as an organization, we are JCI. We are a part of an international organization. Individually, we are JCs. That's who we are. JCs are people. JCI is an organization. It's not how you have to do it, but it is an option for how you can do it. We absolutely want chapters to have the brand that is going to resonate in their communities. That is what's most important. If you have been a solid member of your community for 60, 70 years, continue to be the JCs. Continue to uh, tout that brand and talk about the great things that you have done for decades and decades. If you're a newer chapter or you're a chapter that has lost its recognition within the community, consider rebranding to JCI because it helps you tout that international aspect. It helps you, talk about opportunities outside of the local community and how you are thinking globally and acting locally. So it is absolutely a chapter decision. It's a state decision. It's whatever you decide is appropriate for you. We have come to the end of our webinar this evening. Are there any questions about anything that we covered this evening? And I keep seeing, Christopher, that you are raising your hand. Is there a way that you can type your question in the chat section, please? Actually, Christopher, I was able to unmute you. Do you have a question? You should be unmuted now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Hi. I had originally raised my hand when you were talking about LinkedIn. I have tried to join the JCI group on LinkedIn, and it's not even managed. I don't know who's managing it, but no one is. And I got a response 2 months. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I applied to it like back in April, and I got a response in June saying that they couldn't verify my status, so they wouldn't add me to the group. And then I gave them the information they requested, and I still haven't heard back from whoever's managing that group.
Okay, was this the international JCI or the JCI USA group?
Just JCI, so maybe it's the international one. Is
JCI.
there?
Okay, I'm happy to pass that along to them and find out what what may be going on there. I don't know how that group is managed. I can speak to the JCI USA one, but we can definitely try to get that taken care of for you, and I'm happy to reach out.
There's 2 different ones?
Yes.
I'll look for it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you can absolutely still be a part of the JCI one. So thank you for that question.
Okay.
Other questions?
No.
All right, seeing none, thank you all for joining us this evening for the branding webinar. As always, if you would like, you can get in contact with me via email. My address is nnachreiner, nnachreiner, @jciusa.org. You can also follow me on Instagram, Noli80, or on Twitter, although I don't really tweet very much. You can find me on Facebook, Noelle Nachreiner, and request me as a friend. Happy to answer any questions that you might have offline, or just answer anything that you might have that you didn't want to ask. If you're interested in getting these slides, please reach out to me via email and I will send them to you. I also do see that we have, just Nicole thanking me. Thanks, Nicole. Do you have any tips on becoming a trainer when there are very few classes available in your area? I know that makes me so sad. I'll come to Hawaii every month and train you, Nicole. I would be happy to do that. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And I know that there are some certified trainers in your area, but that's definitely something that we can be sure that when we have national officers coming to Hawaii, that we can make sure we're pairing you up with somebody who has a lot of experience in JCI trainings, and maybe they can just then we can do maybe 2 days of JCI trainings with whomever that person is that may or may not be certified in many different trainings, which your incoming national president may or may not be certified in lots of trainings. So could come and kind of chock 2 days full of JCI trainings so that we could do that and that you could work towards that goal of becoming a trainer, because that's a great goal, and it's one of the best goals and one of the best things that I have accomplished in this organization. And Chris, you said that there is not a JCI USA group, only the company page. Oh, I had not realized that. Okay, I'm going to look into getting a group set up for us, because I think that that would be a great way for people to continue to connect as well. So yes, I will absolutely look into seeing if we can get that set up, because I think that would be a great membership benefit for our members throughout the country to be able to connect through LinkedIn. Rebecca, you are very, very welcome for the presentation. And again, if anybody wants the slides from tonight, feel free to shoot me an email and I'll be happy to send them to you. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all again next month. Have a great night.